Hi, folks. I'm Lisa Hinshaw, and I am an artist. And I have going to show you a new collection. I've got my painting clothes on that I use to create. Lately, I've been creating at the Threshold to Hope in Bloomington, which is a nonprofit that makes art available for for anyone, regardless of their ability to pay. And it is an environment that helps people to find hope and healing through art. And I love to create there. It's more fun to create with other people than it is to create on my own. So I'm going to show you some pieces that are part of a new collection that I have started. I have already posted some of them, most of them on Facebook, but I wanted to show you what I've been doing lately. When I started painting, way back in 2014, I did what most artists do. I did just traditional painting. And I tried different mediums and until I pretty much settled on acrylics. And I love acrylics because they can be used, they're so versatile. They can be used in so many different ways. You can thin them down and use them like watercolors. You can paint straight, just straight painting with them. You can thicken them up and paint like oils. The only difference between acrylics and oils is that acrylics dry out much more quickly, but there are mediums that you can add to, slow down the drying process. And you can also use acrylics to do sculpting, impasto, which is kind of like it creates a thicker paint with a lot of texture. And another thing you can do with acrylics is you can make them liquid acrylics by adding a medium like Floetrol, which makes them pourable. And you can pick your colors and add, um, pick your colors, mix them up in little cups, and then add into a bigger cup a little bit of each color at a time, and until you get them the way you want. There are many techniques for doing acrylic pouring. Um, you can just pour it right out onto the canvas. You can um, you can do puddle pours. You can like do strips of colors and then swipe pour. There's just a lot of different. You can run them through a colander or um, through like open-ended cups. Whatever. There's just a lot of different techniques to make the paint look differently. And so this is an example of an acrylic pour that I did, and I call this Purple Majesty. Um, it has mostly purple and red and blue and gold, um, in and white in the colors, and it really came out very pretty. And it's just an abstract type um, of an effect that you can use, and you can pour acrylics over on canvas. You can pour them on tile. You can pour them on um, vases and different vessels and things like that.
Yeah.
So, oh, and this is my husband right here. He's giving me an apple to eat. Isn't he nice? I'll have that a little bit later, a piece of an apple. Um, but this is just one example. I've done many acrylic pours, and acrylic pouring is very popular. A lot of people do that. And if you would like to do a paint along class with me and learn how to do acrylic pouring, I would love to show you, love to do a class for you. Um, just message me and we'll set something up. I can do groups and individuals. So that's an example there. A lot of people do acrylic pouring. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Another way you can do it is to push the paints around with airflow, like using a hair dryer or a straw, blowing through a straw, or just blowing directly onto the paint in order to make it flow in the direction that you want it to go. So there's just a lot of things you can do. But lately, I have not been satisfied with just doing pours. So I have been doing collages with different pours. The very first collage I did was just for fun. It was called Tropical Sunset, and it was um, just had the sky and land and water and a palm tree, and that one sold almost immediately, which which I was very thankful for. The person liked it very much. And then this is the second one and you can see that first one on Facebook because I did post the picture of that on there. This is the second one that I did, and this one I call um, the lighthouse or safe harbor. The lighthouse, I like lighthouses because they're symbolic of safety. Um, Sailors use lighthouses to guide them away from rocky reefs that would destroy their ships and guide them into safe harbors. And so they're symbolic of God's guidance in our lives. So this is one that um, I really do enjoy this one because the effects of the different pieces of pour actually drive the story in the picture. For instance, there is rocks here, the rocky reefs with water flowing through the rocks. And then there's the splash of the water splashing up against the rocks, and the sea, the ocean or sea out further, and then the turbulent sea even out further. And the sky is just really wondrous. It's just amazing to look at. Um, it just reminds me of the wonder of God's creation and how wonderful it is. But this is an example of how an acrylic pour, the collage, can be used to drive the story of the picture. And then the lighthouse is here, giving light to any ships that would come in. I did not put a ship in this painting, but you can let me know what you think of this one. Then I had an old oil painting that my aunt had done. My great aunt, I'm not sure how many aunts it was, how many greats it was on these aunts. She did a landscape of a pasture scene. And I decided to do a collage with the same landscape. Now this looks very different from the traditional oils that were done back in the early 20th century. I'm not really sure exactly when she painted her painting, and I do have a picture of that on my post in Facebook if you want to see the original of my Aunt Hattie's um, oil painting. But I used the same pasture, and I like color, and so I made kind of an autumn scene with this deciduous tree here showing its autumn color. And then I also love these types of pines that are really tall, and their branches and their needles spread out. Instead of going up at an angle, they spread out. And I just I just love those kind of trees. And so and we had one on our farm where we lived when I was growing up, and it was really, really tall. And so I included two of those. One of these is kind of off in the distance, a little lighter, and this one is closer up. And so here is the pasture. I decided to use Hereford cattle because they're a little bit more colorful, and it creates color balance in the picture. And we have some autumn color here, different bushes, and just how bushes and trees and grow wild out in the pastures. This is a creek bed right here, and you can see the erosion going down to the creek, and then there's just other plants and stuff in the picture. So I love cows. My dad raised cattle. My grandpa raised Hereford, and my dad raised Black Angus. And Grandpa gave him, when he retired, he gave my dad a couple of his best cows. And so we often had black cows with white faces, which were really pretty cows. But in these, I decided to use Hereford. So this one is the pasture scene, inspired by Aunt Hattie's painting. My most recent piece that I have finished um, is very abstract, and it doesn't really. It's just kind of shows another dimension to acrylic pour collages. This is actually the horizon right here, and with the sky, and then there are various levels of land and ponds and things like that, with a little river, and there's swans swimming in the river. This was inspired by a photo that I took um, at the Hayworth Centennial Park west of Hayworth. There is a pond there where the old gravel pit used to be, and mostly there's geese out there, but there is one pair of swans out there on the pond, and so I decided to create something very colorful that was inspired by that photo. If you like these paintings, let me know. And if you're interested in any of them, then let me know that too. I'd be glad to talk to you further about one of these pieces, or you could even commission a piece with me. So let me know what you think, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye for now.